manually create a profile, and then they'll call me and say, well, why aren't they showing up in the new members in the last 90 days dashboard? And it's just because they didn't fill out the join date field.
Okay.
So I'll show you what I'm referring to.
Sorry, is that a field that can be set so that it has to be filled out when you're manually adding something so we don't forget it?
Oh, unfortunately, that's not one that we can make required.
Okay.
But I'll show you where it is, and hopefully maybe you guys can make a mental note, and I'll make sure I mention it a couple more times in our trainings as well.
Okay.
All right. Then we have our event dashboards. You guys, from what I understand, are not going to be using us for events, so I'm not sure this particularly relates to you guys. Is that accurate?
Not to start with. Yeah. Yeah, at least not to start with. We may down the road, but we got to get the buy-in of some of the higher-ups for that, if we want to do that.
Well, it's also the daily deposits, and so trying to track that with accounting.
Yeah. Okay.
I see. So sometimes after we have that conversation, I get the question of, well, can we just make this go away from our dashboard area? Unfortunately, we can't. It's just going to be hanging out here. But there will never be any events that populate into these dashboards since you won't be creating events, so they'll just be left blank.
Sure. Okay.
And then we do have some financial dashboards down here at the bottom as well, which also I don't think are going to relate to you guys, correct?
No. Correct.
Yeah. So really, you can just see these two little dashboards here at the top. A couple of cool tips and tricks that I wouldn't necessarily take the time to review with you. Any of these numbers in our column are clickable. So if I wanted to see, okay, who's my test member type company? I'm going to click that number 1. And it's going to bring this individual company into my profile list. I may need to close out of some of my spreadsheets in order to get my computer to work a little faster.
Circle going around.
Let's see. Yeah. Let's close out of a couple things here. Nope. It's every time my computer starts running slow, I'm like, this computer, and then I realize it's my own fault. I just have too much going on. All right. That might help. There we go. So this is showing me that one person who is in that test member type that is in the company member type for that test. This is showing me that one profile. So if you ever wanted to see, okay, who are my partner companies, who are my member companies, or maybe you just want to see the linked individuals, you can just click any of those numbers from the dashboard. It's going to pull them in the profile list and show you just that member view.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and continue to snoop around in here. So I got to this area by clicking on that one single company here.
Okay.
We can also get to the profile list by using the profile list button up in the top right-hand corner.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So this is showing us our entire database. So when you click on this in the future, this will bring in every single person that you have in your database. That's a lot of people. And obviously there's not a whole lot you can do with a huge list. You guys might be wanting to do an export, or you might be wanting to contact a certain group of individuals. To narrow down who those individuals are, we're going to use our advanced search tool in the top left-hand corner. At this point, we have a couple of different items we can search by. The one that will be most helpful to you all is searching by the attribute value. I think searching by that groups option is going to be really beneficial. So to back up for a minute, the last call that we had, I believe it was the last call, I talked a lot about attributes in the system. Do you remember us talking about those?
Yep.
Awesome. And so we talked about how an attribute is just a piece of information that helps describe your members. And I talked about how those attributes that we have are broken up into 3 different categories. Those categories would include built-in attributes. I mentioned how built-in attributes are the pieces of information we know you guys collect on your members, so we go ahead and build them into the product. Things like first and last name, email address, phone number, physical address. The reason I'm talking about those is because anytime you do a search in the system, the first group of items that come up in brackets are all built-in attributes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So anytime you're doing a search in the system, if you're looking for one of those built-in attributes, you should know it's going to be at the top of the list. I also talked about how another category of attributes we have are custom attributes. Custom attributes are the fields that you guys collect on your members, but we wouldn't have known that you collect them on your members. So we're going to create, or we did create, custom attributes to hold those fields. That would be the next items here in our search list. Now these items are outside of brackets.
What's your definition of department?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at that original database that Elliot had for you guys. Is that not going to be a helpful custom attribute?
Well, it's the department. I mean, maybe it came from, you know, from what was in Outlook, because there is a department thing there, which sometimes when it says department, I just put in the 3-letter acronym for the hospital name. But I mean, it really isn't that useful to us, the department.
Okay, so then I might delete that custom attribute out.
Good.
It's not in this updated spreadsheet anyways. And type, I believe, was just reiterating the member type before, so I need to remove this type as well. I think the only one we need is groups.
Okay. Yep.
So I'll get these two deleted out, and I can actually do that for us in just a moment. So then we've got our custom attributes.
What's the difference between the customized group plural and the
ones in brackets?
Yeah, there was a group in bracket that, based on your explanation, is one of the default categories. Or
yes.
Default attribute, i.e. field.
This is a really good conversation. It's actually probably going to merit a couple minutes here. So, member clicks. All of your members have to be in a member type. Each of those member types have a mirror image in the product called a group. So by default, if I am in the partner contact member type, I am also in a partner contact group. I have to be. You cannot remove me from that group. I have to be in both. The reason why these are two separate things, the group for the member clicks system attribute, which is this one I've highlighted, it's the bracketed one. So it determines, so let me back up, member types, being in a member type determines how much I pay in dues and how often I pay those dues. Now this is traditional in the member click system. Obviously that doesn't quite apply to you guys, but that's just how the system determines how much money a member would need to pay the association, is based on the member type that they're in.
I see.
The group that they are in determines the permissions they have in the system. So while I'm paying dues based on my member type, I can see specific content on the website based on my group. Also doesn't totally apply to you guys, right? In the way that you're using the system today. Right. The reason member clicks, and this is, you know, once again, just kind of sticking with traditionally a traditional group that I would onboard. The way that these items would work, or the reason that they're two separate things, is because I can only be in one member type at any given time. If I was in two member types, that means I'm going to have two profiles, two sets of attributes, two sets of logins. That's confusing, because then it's like, where am I logging in at? What information's accurate? What have I updated? What did I not update? So I can only be in one member type at any given time, but I can be in multiple groups at any given time. And the reason that's beneficial to most associations is because you guys, and you may have one, you may have a board of directors, for example. Well, let's say that Sandra is a partner member type. Her company is a partner member type, and she has to pay dues. Her company has to pay dues for that partner member type. Well, let's say Sandra, who's a linked profile for that member type, also happens to be part of your board of directors. And she needs some additional permissions to see more content, maybe to even be able to see some stuff on the admin portion of the website. We would have to add her to that board of directors group to give her those additional permissions. And so that's why we have them as two separate things. So it's going to be a little bit confusing for you guys because MemberClicks does have this system attribute called group that acts just the way I described. Of course, for you guys, groups and member types, those terms will be able to be used interchangeably because your member types will be the same as your groups, right?
No, I mean, we have the groups that we gave you are their peer groups.
No, based on what based on how you described that, if we had a sponsor, they would be tiered permission. So I think how you explained it and the groups that we have set up, that would be accurate because like a board member, their tier would then surpass whatever group they're in. So what they need to access is going to be different than,
yeah.
So it makes sense to me.
I'm just getting confused with the term group because, you know, all those groups that I sent you that we're combining with the data.
Right. But you got to remember she's defining what their predefined group attribute is.
Yeah.
So the way they built the back end is to give permissions based on how we've grouped people. So we're using the same term, but with an S and without, it has different permissions and different things assigned to it.
I get you. You're talking about the one that's within their system.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Sleep last night. Okay.
That's it. But you know what? I love that you just explained that back because that tells me that you get it. And I love that. I think that's so helpful. So to kind of keep from getting confused, what I would just remember, and maybe we might want to rename this New Hampshire Hospital Association groups or something like that, or because I can't rename the system attribute to MC groups. I wish I could because that would make the most sense. But basically we
rename it. Yeah, could you rename it NHHA/FHC groups?
I sure can. So
now that would be perfect. That would help us go, okay, that's the one we're talking about.
/CAC or FAC groups?
FHC.
FHC.
There you go. Okay.
Got it. Sweet. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and delete out department because we do not need that guy. And we also don't need this type. So they are gone.
Awesome.
So let's go back and we'll see exactly how that affects what we're going to be looking at here in our advanced search. So now we only have NHA, FHAC groups. And we know that this is yours. And then after the custom attributes, we're going to fall into system attributes. So going back into brackets are system attributes.
Okay.
What is something other than the NHHA, FHC groups? Other than this, are there any other attributes in here that you think you will be searching by all the time?
No, I mean, if we're not looking at an individual, we're going to be looking at a group.
Okay.
Well, not having gone to any other trainings, when you're trying to find someone who's linked, like the CEO's admin assistant, is that an attribute or a note within how you've set up the contacts?
Really good question. So, and I'll use my test. We'll talk more about specifically searching for your specific members when I get the data in here, but for today, I can show you the search bar in the top right-hand corner.
Okay.
So let's say that we wanted to find out, I named myself A test. Let's say you were looking for A test, W test. Let's say that you're looking for a specific individual who's linked. Here's the really cool thing, y'all. Maybe you only remember the hospital or the company, but you don't remember the individual's name. Or maybe you only remember the individual's last name. You can type in a first name, a last name, or an organization name, or an email address. And you only have to type in up to 3 letters. So if I only type in 2, it's not going to search for results. But the second I type in 3 letters, it's looking for results in any of those fields: first name, last name, organization, or email.
Wow.
So let's say you remember my first name, which is A Test. You did your search, you found my profile. And here's everything about me. Now let's say, oh, I really wanted to see her company. If I am linked to a company, there's going to be a special box right in the middle of my profile that will have the organization's information in it. So I linked myself to MC Test. I can click on View Profile, and it's going to take me right into the organization's profile. Now let's say we wanted to go back to me as an individual. Within the organization's profile, there is a tab in here that says Linked Profiles. You can click on that Linked Profiles, and it'll show every single person that's linked to that company and if they are a key contact. If somebody leaves, so let's say I'm no longer with MC Test, you can just unlink me by clicking Unlink right here.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and look at these. And did that answer your question?
I think so, because if I don't know if there's a note section or how, like, I'm not going to know what the admin assistant's name is. I'm going to go to the CEO, and then, so you're saying under the linked profiles, then is it visible what group they're part of?
Whoever I'm linked to, yeah, unfortunately, whoever I'm grouped to will be my organization. So, for example, let me do this with you guys and see if it helps at all. I'm going to create another test group. I'm going to put you in the member type, and I'm going to do it for you guys. So I'm going to add an organization. I went to Profile List, and I'm going to select Add an Organization. This is where I'm going to add in the company's name. So I'm going to say, yep, you're a member type. I'm going to call you NHHA. Save. That just created the company's profile. Now, you don't have any linked profiles yet. We can confirm that because under the linked profiles attribute in the company profile, it says there are 0. Do you see that?
Okay. Yep.
If we wanted to add a linked profile, I'm going to go to Linked Profiles, and I'm going to create a linked profile. And we're going to say, username, we'll say employee 1. And I'm just going to say employee 1 email NHHA at employee1.com. Save. Oh, there's a space. There we go. Well, there we go. All right, I'm going to add another one. Create another linked profile. This time I'm going to say employee 2. Employee 2. Employee 2 at nhha.com. So when I'm looking, if you're looking for a specific employee who works for NHHA and you don't remember their names or you don't know their names, but you want to find that individual, you can do a couple of different things. You can use your search bar in the top right-hand corner and you can search for NHHA. Now, it's automatically showing me all the employees for NHHA as well. Of course, it found NHHA in Vanessa's, in your email address also. But so then if you see the name and you're like, oh, that's who I'm looking for, you could just click their name and go directly to their profile. Or maybe there were, I know you guys have some cases where there are like 70 linked profiles. So let's say, you can't view all of those people. So you can just go into NHHA's member profile. We know that they have 2 linked profiles. We can go down into the linked profiles tab and see every single person specifically linked to NHHA company. You will only see the individuals linked to this company. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So you have to go into into their contact to figure out if they're the admin assistant or. Okay.
Right. So what they'll be linked to is the hospital that they.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can you do a search by group?
You can do a search by group using the search bar in the top right-hand corner, but we absolutely can. So let me go ahead and add a group to those employee profiles so we can pull up some real examples here. I'm going to go into an employee profile. Let me segue to that by explaining a couple things on our way there. In an individual's profile, we've got a top left-hand box. These are, once again, those built-in attributes. First and last name, organization, email, phone number, physical address.
Yep.
And then system attributes. Member number, member type, groups. This is the system attribute groups. Member status, join date, last renewal date, expiration date. We can even see when the profile was created and the last time the profile was modified. As we continue to scroll.
Yep. This is a good example because you manually added it and it's saying join date you have to edit because there's none there. So is this where we would then have to go in and add the join date?
That's exactly right. Good thinking. Okay. Yes. So just to show you that dashboard was blank, now if I added, oh, well, they joined on the 23rd, save. If I go back to our dashboard, now we've got one person reflecting here.
Yep, okay.
I'm going to delete that back out. Awesome. All right. I already mentioned if there is a bar in the middle of the profile, that means they are linked to a company, and we can visit the company profile directly from this bar. As we continue to scroll down, we're going to see a summary of built-in attributes once again, as well as custom attributes. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is, they are, and I know these are going to get cleaned up when we do that new import, but I'm going to say this person is the CIO, CAHADV, and EOL 2017.
Okay.
And I'm going to click Save. If I wanted to search by some of these, I can use that profile list button once again up in the top right-hand corner. I'm going to do our advanced search. I'm going to search by attribute value, and we want to look for that NHHA FHC groups attribute, and there it is.
Okay.
We will then say, okay, we want to know who's in the CIO group. I'm going to hit search, and there's my person.
Okay.
Now, what if you wanted to do multiple search? We could say NHHA FHC groups for if they're in the CIO group, or I can add an additional attribute by selecting add criteria, adding another group, choosing the NHHA FHC, and saying I also care if they are in EOL 2017. Now, something super important that I want to point out to you all, there are two options when searching multiple criteria. The first is matching all. That means they'd have to be in the CIO group and the EOL 2017 group. They'd have to both be in both groups. The second option would be match any criteria, meaning that they would be in the CIO group or EOL 2017 group.
Okay.
I can hit search, and it's still just me because I only applied it to one profile. We're still just one, but so I could have also done a match all for this guy as well. What questions do you have on that? Or what other questions do you have?
Oh, that works.
Okay. Just to point out a couple of other things when you're searching, you guys aren't going to care about form submissions or event status because you won't be using those as of now, but we do have some additional statuses at the very bottom you can search by, including deceased or deleted. So I do want to show in my employee one's profile, let's say that you found out that they are deceased. You can't change my status right now because I'm still linked to my company. The first step you would want to take is unlinking me from my company, then giving me a deceased status. Same thing if you wanted to delete my profile. You would first want to unattach me from my company and then delete my profile. So let's go ahead and begin by going into the company profile. Going to those linked profiles, and I'm going to click unlink for employee one. It's going to say, are you sure you want to unlink? And I'm going to say yes. And now we've got one person linked, and we can even see that reflected in the organization's profile as well.
Okay.
Now let's go back to employee one. And at this time, now see how the green edit button is available for the member status. At this time, I could mark employee one as deceased. Now, when we do a profile list and we're searching for deceased members for whatever reason, I'm going to use my advanced search. And deceased. That's not totally what I was looking for. Oh, I see, because I also have active and graced. I don't care about active and graced. I just care about deceased. I was like, that's not what I want. And there we go.
What's your definition of graced?
So if somebody's going through a membership renewal period, so this is only for membership renewals, a lot of times what associations will do is, let's say that I expire December 31st. I'll receive some renewal notifications maybe a month before, but then if I don't pay and I hit that December 31st, most associations will give me 30, 60, 90 days of a grace period to give me the opportunity to pay that dues amount.
Have we already set that, or is that something we need to do?
I think that's something, but yeah, we're not.
Right.
I'm sorry.
We're not using that. We're not using that portion of your program.
It might be an incentive to get dues faster after 30 days. They can't get in. They haven't paid. Spot.
That's another thing that that Vanessa will need to work with the higher ups on getting their buy-in on using that portion of the program. Yeah.
What are you guys doing currently for that? No, you're totally fine. It's kind of a cool conversation.
We don't they pay? Do they pay quarterly? I think they pay quarterly, and we have an accounting department, and they send out invoices the old-fashioned snail mail way.
Gotcha.
Right. And there's, and it depends on the follow-up in regards to the aging report. So, but we can move on. That's
yeah, something that I might mention. That's right. Something that I might mention to you guys, just to mention it. We do have the ability to poke your members up to 12 times, right? Those renewal notifications that we have, we can send up to 12 out. Of course, the second a member pays their dues, they'll stop receiving those renewal notifications. And you don't have to use all 12. If you only wanted to use a handful, then you have that ability. You can really determine how many you want to use and the cadence that you want those to go out. There's not really a limit there other than the limit of 12 that can go out from the system on dues renewals. Something that I will mention is when your members, if you guys ever used member clicks for that dues renewal process, when a renewal notification goes out, that first one, it's what triggers the system to create your members' open invoices. So we won't necessarily, like we can't send renewal notifications out without opening invoices. So we wouldn't want to send like late reminders through member clicks just because whenever you have invoices created, you want one created for every single person, right? Not just the people who haven't paid, because you want your financials to be all in one place. But you can use our contact center to email your members. Are you guys going to be utilizing our contact center?
I think so, for newsletters.
Yes, I'm sure we will. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm not going to talk about that today because we only have about 13 minutes left. And that's not enough time, but we'll set aside some special time just to review that together.
Okay.
Yeah. One other thing that I wanted to go ahead and point out, we were already looking at your members' profiles a moment ago, how to edit the member profile. Obviously, you can select edit next to any of these fields. I already did that for the status. I also, though, can click this edit button. So if I come down where the built-in and custom attributes are, I can select my edit button in the top right-hand corner, and this will allow me to edit any of these fields. Okay. So you could say, not really part of EOL 2017. You might want to fill out some additional information about this test profile or about your member's profile. And then you can save those changes.
Does that get reflected in the membership history? And can you see the changes based on what groups they have been in? Oh, okay.
I see what you're saying. A couple of things I want to touch on. This is what the membership history shows you. This is really just going to show you membership history. I guess that's why it's called membership history. But things like
history, like the document,
right? The status,
okay.
The member type, if they're joined, if a join date or expiration date is added, the status, you know, they were changed to deceased on so-and-so date. So you're not going to be able to find changes like that here.
Okay.
In fact, if you make any changes to the custom attributes, specifically custom attributes, there's no trail of that. So something you mentioned earlier about a notes field, is there like a notes section? In every profile, including the companies, there is this notes tab.
Okay.
If you guys remove a member from that specific group, I would suggest coming in here and saying, removed from EOL 2017 on July 26th or 25th? I think it's 26th, 2018, and I would say A. Warren.
Okay.
And I can submit that note. It's going to date and timestamp that note. We have our note listed, and then I'm logged in as my MemberClicks admin, which is kind of like a ghost account, but you guys, it would list your name on here as to who the admin was.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, you can always edit or delete those notes, but obviously you would want those to kind of hang out in here. If you wanted to add an additional note, just to kind of show you how it's going to build on each other. I'm trying to write test. There we go. It's just going to continue to keep that running count of all those notes. So that's definitely a place I would recommend doing that if you remove them from any of the groups.
Okay.
I'm thinking of some other items that might interest you guys. Invoicing for now will not matter. Submissions, these are form submissions, not going to matter. E-listing committees are social community items. As of today, you will not be utilizing these features from what I understand. Message history, this could actually be really helpful for you all. Within an individual's profile, you can actually see every email you've ever sent to them, and if they opened it, if the email bounced, if it was undelivered for whatever reason, if it's a bad email address, you'll be able to see the status of that email within this message history tab directly from the member's profile.
And that's based on the assumption that the email was sent through MemberClicks, correct?
That's exactly right. Yes, through our contact center.
Okay.
Yeah. Which we'll definitely spend a full hour talking through. If your members are receiving emails from the contact center and MemberClicks, they will have the ability to set some contact preferences. And of course, by law, they have the ability to unsubscribe from your emails.
Mm-hmm.
Not that this matters to you guys right now, but down the road, if you wanted to use MemberClicks for dues renewals, I do want to go ahead and point out, even if a member unsubscribes from emails, they can never opt out of dues renewal notifications or form confirmation emails.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to mention something else on this as well, and I cannot. I think, oh, I was also going to mention, we also have under reporting and messages, a message reporting center. So not only can you see the status of the message within the member's profile, but you also will be able to see all messages sent out. Cool, I thought we usually put an example in here. All messages sent out from MemberClicks, along with the subject of those messages, how many recipients the message went to. We can go ahead and click on the subject name. And this is going to just break down some additional statistics. Total recipients, attempted, if it was sent, if it was opened.
Great.
Bounced, unsubscribed. You can report on all of those things. You can even click on that number 1. So if I wanted to see who opened this, it's probably going to see you guys. It'll show me who that person was.
Okay.
Even cooler.
What about? Just because I noticed that under admins, it seems as though Vanessa's in there twice. How can you verify if it's 2 separate, distinct contacts or if it's a duplicate? Yeah,
I think that's a great question. In MemberClicks, obviously the reason we're spending so much time on your data is so that you do not have duplicates. MemberClicks is checking duplicates based on the member's username. So when I import your members, I'm going to be using the email address as the username. Okay. It's going to check for duplicates.
So even if there were 2 Mary Smiths, say, and it's just a common name and they're from different places, you'd be using the email address as the username.
And it would be checking that username exactly for duplicates. Okay. So if it's Mary Sue and she works with MemberClicks, so it's Mary Sue at memberclicks.com, and the Mary Sue who works for NHHA and it's Mary Sue at NHHA.com, then they would be 2 separate profiles. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. In fact, let's go ahead and get one of these updated because I want both of you to have an admin account. I would need to do this anyways. So I'm going to change this one. Vanessa, so the other ASA or authorized service administrator on the account should be who?
Me, Sally Short.
Is it S-H-O-R-T, Sally?
Yep.
Perfect. And then I'm just going to say Sally Short. And I've got your email address, Sally, so let me copy and paste it in here really quickly.
Just like hers, it's just S Short.
Yeah, just be S Short.
Okay, I'll just throw that in here then instead of searching for it. S-S-H-O-R-T.
O-R-T, yep.
Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a username of S-S-H-O-R-T, first letter of your first name plus your last name, all lowercase. I'm also going to go ahead and give you a password. Typically, I would make it in NHHA, all caps.
Okay.
And then I'll send that an email to you guys after. So Sally, you and Vanessa, you two are both what we would call authorized service administrators. You guys are a perfect crew because we allot 2 authorized service administrators per account. What that means is when we are ready to navigate you guys over to the help team, you guys can call in anytime. They may end up asking you for a PIN. Sally, if you were going to be asked what your PIN was, what would you want it to be?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. I can do that.
Just like voicemail, yeah.
Vanessa, would you want yours to be the same?
Vanessa isn't in here.
Yeah, this is Noreen, and I don't have an admin profile yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Can
sorry.
we-
Let's
can we
create
add-
you one.
Can we add a third one for her, for Noreen?
So I can't add Noreen a ASA account per se. It can't be like the authorized service administrator, but she can have an admin account. You'll be able to see everything the same in the system. Typically, the only difference is that means you're not technically supposed to call into the health team, but I'm not going to tell on you if you do, and you probably won't, like, they're not going to say anything. I'm like whispering because the health team's on the other side of the wall from me. That's why I was getting really quiet, which is also always cool that I get to, you know, talk to and say our health team is directly in our office, which is so rare, y'all. It's crazy. Will you spell your name for me?
Yep, username would be, oh, all right, sorry. First name, Noreen. Last name, Cremin. Email is okay, sorry. It's NCREMIN@healthy.nh.org.
Cool. And then I'll make, is it okay if your username is NCREMIN?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm going to make your password NHHA all caps as well, if that's okay.
Could you just do FHC?
Yep, FHC all caps. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
Cool. So here's something kind of to come full circle on our call today. I just went to database and admin permissions. So we talked about permissions earlier on the call. I need to make sure that your group, you're in the admin group and the admin member type. I'm just confirming that your admin group has permissions to access the back end. Notice I just gave you permissions to access everything from the back end. The only thing that you will not see, that the other ladies will see, is this settings tab. None of you guys will see the utilities tab. This is custom to me.
Okay.
Settings, how something, or is that something more global?
Now, settings, you have the ability to view billing, contact info. You know what, one thing that I think you will need if you're going to use our contact center is when you send emails from the MemberClicks product, your members could potentially have the ability to reply to those emails. Where would you want their responses to go?
So if they're having difficulty with MemberClicks, who here should they contact, or who at MemberClicks?
I don't think it's going to be difficulty with MemberClicks because I don't think you guys are using our social community, correct? You're only using the admin portion of this, right? So this is more like
use mine. You know, we can always change it if we need to, but use mine to start with.
And to answer your question, Noreen, this is just for if if they had a question for you guys. So, for example, you send a newsletter out about an October luncheon. Somebody may email back and say, "How do I sign up for this?" And you want that email to be delivered to one of you guys so you can answer it, right?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to save that. Awesome. So this is really just the account settings tab page. Not a ton in here since you guys aren't at this moment doing dues renewals through us. It's just a little bit more protected because there are things like an account number and billing contact info.
But you can shut off QuickBooks. We don't use QuickBooks.
I can do that. We don't have revenue accounts set up in the product. Because I don't think you guys, as of today, are doing billing in the MemberClicks product, but that's
no.
Yeah, but we can go ahead and turn it off if you ever wanted to add it in the future. And I think I've mentioned this to you guys previously, but I would definitely, I'll send you a link to training videos. We do free MemberClicks webinar 101s. I obviously, and it's really cool. We do some on contact center, some on database that I would definitely encourage you guys to go to after our trainings together, or you can even start signing up now if you wanted to. But the main benefit, I think, for you guys of those is going to be that if you start thinking, MemberClicks can do forms, I wonder if we should use the MemberClicks forms, or MemberClicks can handle dues, I'd like to learn more about that. sign up for one of those webinars, and then you can learn a little bit about it through that and decide, do we want to go this direction? Is this something we want to pursue? Or, you know what, yeah, we're not really going to use MemberClicks for that. That way, you know, we're not going to be using our time together to talk about the stuff you're not using, because I don't want to fill your brain with fluff that you're just going to forget anyways.
Okay.
But just kind of a little idea. So I'll send that over to you. Let's go ahead, because we've come to the end of our hour, and schedule our next training for next week, and we'll really be able to dive in here and play with y'all's data. How does next week look for you all?
It depends on the day.
Let me find my calendar. What day works best for you all?
Oh, doesn't matter to me, Noreen. I'll be here all week. And when there's no board meetings or anything, so I should be flexible.
Tuesday or Friday?
Okay. As of right now, can we shoot for, I could do, what time is this? 10:30 to 11:30 on Tuesday?
Okay.
Would that work for you all?
10:30? Okay.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Okay.
Awesome. So I've got that on my calendar for 10:30. I'll get you guys credentials. I'll send you some resources to start looking over, along with the recording of our video today. And other than that, I just have to say thank you guys again for your patience. I really appreciate you, and we will have your data in the product so that we can really
You have no idea how excited I am.
Thank you. I thank you so much. I will also be really excited for all of us.
All right. Thanks, Adrienne.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yep. Bye.